A clamp is a fastening device used to hold or secure objects tightly together to prevent movement or separation through the application of inward pressure. Clamp is a handy device used for securely holding a workpiece in a place while carrying out work on it. Clamps can be used for woodworking and carpentry. A clamp may be used for holding a piece of wood to a workbench in order for a variety of woodworking tasks to be completed, such as sawing or chiseling. Metalworking. For applications such as welding, grinding, or fabrication, a clamp is an ideal tool to use for holding all types of metals, including steel, iron, aluminum, and copper. Drilling. A clamp can be used to hold a workpiece firmly in place on a drill table.
Locking pliers are pliers that can be locked into position using an over-center clamp action. What are locking pliers used for? Typically, locking pliers are used where more torque is needed to pry or remove objects, or where added grip is needed for holding object in place.
This is blacksmith tongs, or can also be called hammer tongs. This is what it looks like. So, this type of holding tool is used to grip and lift objects instead of holding it with bare hands.
Long-nose pliers are both cutting and holding pliers used by artisans, jewelry designers, electricians, network engineers, and other tradesmen to bend, reposition, and cut wires. Because of their long shape, they are useful for reaching into small areas where cable or other materials have become stuck or unreachable with fingers or other means. Proper use of long-nose pliers, used to grip small objects, reach awkward places, hold wires, bend loops, and attach wires.
Slip joint pliers. Slip joint pliers are hand-operated tool for holding and gripping small articles or for bending and cutting wire. Slip joint pliers have grooved jaws, and the pivot in one member is elongated so that the member can pivot in either of two positions in order to grasp objects of different size in most effective way.
This is the hand vise. This is its parts, and this is what it looks like. This is a type of holding tool that are used for gripping screws, small drills, rivets, and other objects which are small that make it inconveniently held in the bench vise. It also has different shapes and sizes depending on how small the objects you want to hold and grip.
An adjustable wrench or an adjustable spanner can be used for adjusting nuts, bolts, screws, and much more. These wrenches can be used on bikes, cars, furniture, and other items that need nuts, bolts, and screws to be attached to them. Some even have motors to automatically adjust the size of the nuts. We have a history of wrenches that are actually quite interesting, as the wrenches we have now have levers, but the wrenches back then had wedges. Well, how do you use a wrench? It's quite simple. You place the bolt in its place, or a hole, and open the jaw of the wrench using this. Now after this, you position the bolt in between the upper and lower part of the wrench. Then tighten it using this again, and do a twisting motion. Though a much easier way to screw bolts in is to use your hands, and then screw it in with the wrench. Wrenches can be used to unscrew and screw bolts in. And that is the uses and how to use the adjustable wrench.
Diagonal pliers or side-cutting pliers are pliers intended for the cutting of wire. They are generally not used to grab or turn anything. The plane defined by the cutting edges of the jaws intersects the joint rivet at an angle or on a diagonal, hence the name. Instead of using a shearing action as with scissors, diagonal pliers cut by indenting and wedging the wire apart. The jaw edges are ground to a symmetrical V shape. Thus, the two jaws can be visualized to form the letter X, as seen and on when fully occluded. Diagonal pliers are useful for cutting copper, brass, iron, aluminum, and steel wire. Lower quality versions are generally not suitable for cutting tempered steel, such as piano wire, as the jaws are not hard enough.
One of many holding tools is the pipe vise. A pipe vise is a plumbing tool used to hold pipe or tubing securely so that it can be cut or threaded. Pipe vises are also useful for pipe welding. Parts of a pipe vise is a tummy bar, moving upper jaw, fixed lower jaw, handle, and the base. In order to use the pipe vise correctly, the first step to do is to turn the tummy bar of the pipe vise anti-clockwise until the jaws open. The second step is to lift the handle on the side of the vise. Then, the third step is to lay your pipe on the fixed jaw, then close the vise.
This is the bench vise. This is its parts, and this is what it looks like. It is a type of holding tool that is also known as woodworking vise, and the purpose of this tool is to hold the object underneath with grip and work on the object. It has parallel jaws that used to secure an object that needs to be worked on. This type of vise is actually the strongest among the other vices. So therefore, this is used for holding such big objects to saw, drill, or weld. This also is safer to use so that there won't be problems or injuries that will happen during sawing or welding big objects